Welcome to this video, a part of the Iowa Commodity Challenge educational series. The partnership between the Iowa Farm Bureau and Iowa State University Extension. This video is intended to complement the Using Crop Contracts. We're going to be discussing working with your grain merchandiser, and I'm joined by Ray Jenkins, who serves as an extension educator for ISU Extension. Ray, you spent 25 years as a grain merchandiser for Cargill Corn Milling, a wet milling plant in Eddyville, Iowa. Help us understand the role of the grain merchandiser.
Well, Steve, to start off with, supply of grain is incredibly important to the processor. Many of our processing plants here in the state of Iowa have as little as 3 days worth of storage, and some may have as many as 20. The other thing that people are looking at is logistics. Trying to maintain that smooth flow of grain ensures the plant has raw material, minimizes unloading times, and creates the conditions that make least cost origination possible. Also, information. The flow of information is a two-way street. Merchants like hearing unfiltered information directly from the country, and farmers can benefit from the large amount of info that flows across the merchant's desk each day. Finally, contract alternatives. The merchant may suggest a different idea other than just holding grain unpriced in the bin.
Ray, I'd like to introduce some crop marketing tools and then help us compare these tools by looking at futures, basis, time, and delivery location.
Well, Steve, to start off with, we'll look at the traditional cash sale, or sometimes known as spot selling. I've seen that average 10 to 20% of daily unloads outside of harvest, and I've seen it be as much as 40 to 50% of daily unloads during big harvest year when space gets tight. Delayed price, it's also known as in the industry as DP or NPE. In this contract, neither futures or basis have been established at the time of delivery. Service charges vary from free to levels that may rival traditional storage programs. MPC, or a minimum price contract. This contract offers a floor price and the potential to get a higher futures price within a fixed amount of time. Basis. In this contract, basis is fixed, but futures remain open. An advance of 70 to 80% is normally available after delivery is completed. You should be aware that if futures would fall sharply, the value of your contract may be less than your advance, requiring additional margin to be deposited. Hedge. Futures are established in a separate hedge account, giving you maximum flexibility on when to establish basis, time of delivery, and location. You must deposit initial margin and pay any margin calls should futures rally substantially. HTA, similar to the hedge, except that you are setting futures, delivery, and location with basis remaining open. Forward contract. All four components are established, a key component of many marketing plans that utilize crop insurance. And finally, options. Similar to the MPC, except that the contract is established through a broker, leaving basis, time of delivery, and location open.
Ray, what might be some key strategies as a grain merchandiser in working with farmers so they can better understand these crop marketing tools?
Steve, the merchant needs to be listening to the needs of the seller and helping decide a course of action. The farmer may be saying, I will need cash flow by February 20th, or he might be asking the merchant if the basis currently being offered for January delivery is at a historically strong, steady, or weak level. That back and forth flow of information can help both parties determine the best solution. Farmers with high amounts of on-farm stored grain and access to the CCC loan program may have a different marketing solution than those who have delivered corn to commercial elevators on storage programs that start accruing additional charges in early January.
Annually, farms likely market at different periods of time because of cash flow or on-farm storage, or perhaps their understanding of crop contracts. Ray, if we were to look at a percent of crops marketed by month over a 20-year period, starting with September, the start of the marketing year, and ending in August, what type of information could you pass along to farmers as we look at, first of all, corn, the gold bar, and soybeans, the green bar?
Well, Steve, when I look at that chart, a few things stand out to me. Certainly it says that soybeans are a popular crop to be sold directly off the combine, and to a lesser extent, corn each year. So if you fall into that category of needing to have some beans sold, having forward contracts in place is certainly warranted. There's a post-harvest lull in marketing activity that typically occurs between the middle of November and the end of the year. And finally, there's a second harvest of corn and beans that typically occurs in January, and that's followed by a more methodical pace of marketing activity the rest of the year. Now, the processor still needs grain even during that marketing lull, the last 6 months, or 6 weeks of the calendar year. That may be a good time to consider the delivery of grain at improved basis levels while many marketing participants are taking a time out. And that's a good opportunity to work on the relationship with your local grain merchant.
As we wrap up this video, I think it's important to recognize some key points. Hopefully you understand the role of the grain merchandiser and that you can improve the communications and take advantage of some of the daily information that that grain merchandiser might have. Also, to be able to compare various crop marketing tools, and then to drill down through these tools to be able to look at what using a crop contract entails. Then consider separating the futures price and the basis decision. For old crop, that's typically a basis contract or a minimum price contract. And for new crop bushels, perhaps an HTA or a hedge to arrive. And lastly, learn to use a variety of crop marketing tools. Spread your risk. Create a diversity of tools that can capture futures and or can capture basis. I'd like to thank Ray for his time and insights in working with your grain merchandiser. I hope you've enjoyed this video.